back to the Neil Watson method compositional studies. Going to throw in a little bit of color now that they've dried up a little bit. Just kind of get a feel for what these look like with the color added. And more darkness in these earlier ones. So what you're going to do is just go through the same process of finding a couple of different zones to work in, kind of finding that feeling of the composition that you like, the color that you like, and then once you've got that sort of worked out, then you can come in and start work on the painting itself. I've already sketched out the painting as you have for the sketch of the day. So I've already put it out here just in line work. But like I said, I was kind of liking the one where it was more open and white up here and more of the color came down and through here. The contrast red from the upper left-hand corner zigzagging through the painting and down into the bottom right. Neil Watson starts out every painting like we did the wet on wet technique last week, which is to say you just hit it with some dots. Just throw the watercolor at the painting. So now you've already ruined it, and so you can kind of proceed without trepidation, if you will. Let's get some more of this color though coming down through here. This becomes more of like a background. And then more of the just pure water color up here, which I'll also brush away with my paper towel to keep this a little bit more white. You can see that he works pretty quickly and very loosely. You know, it's kind of a messy style, which is fun too, and heavy contrast in these zones where we want to direct the eye. So down in here, back down here at the rudder level, and sort of underneath the boat, and at the base of the column. Constantly using the pencil as a brush, using the brush as a pencil, just moving the color around rather briskly and rather quickly, not being afraid to draw in the painting while it's still wet. So what we're doing right now is finding these areas of contrast that are drawing our eye through the composition like this. And as you're working it through, you can subtly add more color too. If you overdo it, just get your paper towel out and pull it back a little bit. I want this to have a little bit more of that yellowish ochre hue, so I'm going to overlay what I just did over there. More of that in through here too. And it's looking good like that. Getting a little reflection in the water here. And of course, we want to start adding that red tone of the boat itself. So I'm going to get some of my alizarin crimson going here. This is adding that second color, if you will. So we got the yellow ochre and the alizarin crimson working in concert with each other, kind of giving us a warm, harmonious range. And the Payne's gray giving us that contrast, if you will, and value. So the kind of, weird things that are happening here as the painting dries is all good. We're trying to maximize those kind of happy accidents, those little mushroom blooms that happen. And then of course you have to let some things sit and dry. It can't be all wet on wet. But right now it's feeling pretty good. The wet on wet is feeling like we might get some good stains happening in here. And so what you have to do is kind of gauge and watch it. And if it looks like if it's too wet to add more stuff, you just let it sit for a while, let it dry, and then come back to it. And then right in here, we need to add some of the stone, and that could be also in this sort of yellow ochre tone. But if you notice, we're kind of working in a way that it looks like we don't really care that much about it, but it's really just trying to kind of take advantage of the quickness to let things bleed together and give us some interesting stains and whatnot. So at this point, I'm going to let this part settle a little bit, and then I'll come back and finish it off after it's dried up a little bit more. So I'm going to say goodbye right now, but we'll come back and finish off the painting. But you get the idea here. We're trying to explore a gradient of light coming in this way, color and contrast working its way through the painting this way, keeping it as a vignette, not drawing every little thing, and getting that element of contrast where the eye is drawn to throughout the painting. Okay, so when we come back, we'll finish this painting off, and you'll be good to go to work on the Neil Watson method for this week.